There we go.
There
Up
Yep.
on top.
Okay, now I can add it.
There we go.
Here we go, baby.
Oh man. Well, what the heck? As soon as we get live,
Right,
it was
15
Purple
seconds in,
Mafia.
he's like, I'm out.
He's back. He's back. It didn't take long. Oh man. Oh, what's up,
Test
everybody?
run StreamYard, man.
This is a total test run. We're just doing a roundtable. We got Zombie Bob on here from the Go Team podcast.
Hey guys.
We got Zach Nunez and Purple Mafia from Purple Mafia podcast. I think Zach, you do some of your own stuff as well.
I do.
I don't know if you want to plug that.
So yeah, I for just lately been doing just some Twitter content. I do have a plan for a little something coming up during baseball season with a friend of mine, Dave Billiot. So hopefully we can get that rolling here soon as I figure out what streaming platform I want to use.
Yeah, you're getting to test everything right now.
Damn right.
Yeah. So Zombie, tell us about your podcast.
Well, guys, we started actually back in 2018. My brother Daniel and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pot of Gold. They've been around, Mike and Grant and Brett, friends of ours. And I've been on their show a couple of times. And, you know, when we were getting ready to kick this off, I told you just in conversation, like, oh, my favorite person in the whole wide world is the person that's never heard my stories, but more importantly, is willing to listen to them. So when Pot of Gold had me on a couple of times, yeah, I don't want to say I was smitten, but I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like I get to see myself and hear myself. And, you know, so Daniel and I started back in 2018 just for fun. Just, you know, at the time I was living in England. And so, you know, if we had 12 people, 12 downloads, well, I guess back then we were on iTunes. And if we had 12 people listen to us, I thought it was the greatest day in the whole wide world. Like, you know, 12 people, like, oh my God, you know? So luckily, I mean, 2019 happened and you couldn't have a better time to have a podcast about LSU football than that season. But I feel like, guys, I mean, there's so many new people coming into the scene. But like, I mean, the anticipation of LSU sports right now, I mean, men's basketball totally aside, but baseball, like Zach just said, is coming up. And, you know, Lane Kiffin and hashtag just different and just women's basketball, you know, the gymnastics, just everything going on with LSU right now is just different, man. So it's really exciting. So I really appreciate the opportunity to jump in with you guys on a Friday night. Daniel, you know, has those young kids that have to be put to bed about this time. That's why we usually start about 9:00 at night. But really appreciate seeing you guys. Really enjoy your work on Twitter and really appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, go check out the Go Team podcast. They're always live on Twitter and YouTube. Are y'all on anything else?
If we are, I have no idea. It's Twitter and YouTube right now, so I don't think that we're doing anything else.
Yeah. And then Purple Mafia. Why don't you plug your stuff?
Yeah, it's just Purple Mafia. I'm mainly on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok's my best platform, I'd say. But yeah, no, happy to be here. Used to just troll behind a burner for many a years, and after we lost to Vanderbilt, I said, we gotta start making some videos about firing Brian Kelly. So I did that on YouTube for a while. I guess because that was the topic of conversation of the time. They did well, shockingly, like a lot better than my stuff does now, I think, because there's a lot more national people looking at it. And then I would upload those clips to TikTok, and then this random insider, Zach Nunez, started messaging me on TikTok like, actually, you're not quite right about this. We went back and forth and just decided to start talking about it. So it's been fun.
So that's how you guys became linked up. You started arguing.
Pretty much.
I made a video about Woodward, how I thought he kind of a lot of things. I thought he hamstrung Coach O back in the day, and he messaged me like all this shit, like you're kind of getting it right, but not really. So
you were getting pieces of it. I just clued you in on everything else I had kind of been told.
Let's see.
And all I was doing was stealing content from all the big LSU people. That's why I think I said in one of my first videos. I was like, I literally just watch everybody's stuff. So trying to aggregate it here. But yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So going back, you know, you said you started when we lost to Vanderbilt doing a lot of stuff. Let me ask, what was y'all's thought when we first hired Brian Kelly?
Ooh, I loved it, honestly. At the time, I mean, I was still at LSU, and me and all my friends, we all wanted Lincoln, right? That was like the lane of that cycle.
Right.
I remember rooting for Oklahoma State so hard in that Bedlam game. Oklahoma State won. I was pumped. Immediately, the first thing Lincoln Riley says in the press conference is, "I'm not going to LSU."
Mm-hmm.
Shattered because, like, compared to this cycle, there was not a lot of like hot coaching candidates at the time. Like I remember some of the other people we were thinking was like Mel Tucker. Like, thank God we didn't go down that route.
Or even James Franklin, huh?
Yeah, James Franklin, like Bill O'Brien. Like it was pretty rough. So had no idea. And then when they announced Brian Kelly, I think just because I was so worried about what our fallback would be, and I didn't really have him on my radar, that I was cool with it. I never like Notre Dame either. So the fact that we stole their coach was fun for me. But I'm like the guy, you could have like Hassan Hussein coaching LSU. I'd be the guy defending him no matter what. So I've always a massive Brian Kelly defender. Basically until we lost to Vanderbilt, and I realized it was never going to happen. Yeah.
Well, if I may, like Nick Saban wasn't Nick Saban until he got to LSU, and then he developed that and became what he became. But then Les Miles, to his credit, maintained that level and then won a national championship. And then, Coach O, that flamed out, and then Coach O took over. And then, like we talked about, 2019 was just an amazing run. So then when you get even though Brian Kelly wasn't really mentioned as a candidate and came out of left field, when you get the winningest coach in college football, but just haven't had 3 consecutive coaches win, and not to disparage Coach O or Les Miles, but if Les Miles could win here, and if Coach O could win here, the worst coach in Ole Miss history won a national championship at LSU, then of course Brian Kelly is going to win here. Of course Brian Kelly is going to win here. And he had me until he called me spoiled. It's like, like we are spoiled 100% because it's the only program where the last 3 national LSU football coaches won the national championship. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm a little congested, so I sound terrible, but
yeah, you sound like shit, man.
I appreciate you that you haven't kicked me out yet.
It's the weather. No, so. I kind of playing off of both of y'all. I was working in local TV at the time in Lake Charles, and I had already had my story written up about it being Lincoln Riley, and then the Oklahoma State thing happens, and I'm like, all righty, we're gonna trash that one. And I was like, okay, so where do we turn here? And I feel like everybody else like me was like, oh, Brian Kelly's just coming out of nowhere. And it's one of those things where it's like you're starving, but all that you have to eat is like the most stale piece of bread. And that's what my feelings were when we hired Brian Kelly, is like, yeah, like this could be really good, but like it doesn't have a whole lot of taste and it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. And similar to you, Purple Mafia, I was like, all right, I'm going to defend him. He did the whole accent thing. I was like, whatever. It's just not a real thing. And then when he lost me was Las Vegas. I flew all the way out to Las Vegas, had to deal with the corny ass USC fans.
Oh my God, they were terrible.
And they blew that game. And I was like, all right, I've had enough. I'm done. And that was from my point on. I was like, all right, this ain't going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was kind of late to the Brian Kelly hate train, but I was pretty excited about the hire from the get-go, but it goes back to my feelings about Orgeron. And this isn't popular, but I could not stand Ed Orgeron.
Really?
The day he was hired. So I felt like the day he was hired as defensive line coach, he's gonna backdoor his way into this. And that's what he did. I mean, when we named him interim, I was like, it was like my worst day ever. I made a Snapchat like back in the day. I posted on my story, just like being like, this is the worst thing ever. And then we hired him full time, and I was pissed. And then I never thought he was good, but we won in 19. 18 was exciting, like towards the end of the year, you could see the program going in the right direction. And I was like starting to think maybe I'm wrong. I was never a believer, but I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Now I'm willing to admit, despite my hatred for him, that he got dealt a bad hand, just like everyone in the country. And a lot of things happened. You typically wouldn't have lost that amount of talent from a championship team that he lost because of the circumstances and everything. But it was just like it got so bad that I was really excited to have an organized adult in the room. And that's what I felt like Kelly was. I didn't know if we were going to win 3 national championships with Kelly, but I knew we were always going to win 10 games. And that's what he was doing until this year. Like it was clearly time. I got off Kelly late, but I thought it was time. I thought it was an appropriate time.
It was absolutely time. So if you hate O so much, what were you thinking when everyone was like D-line coach with Kiffin? Because I'm not gonna lie, that's what I wanted.
Oh yeah, the drama.
I could take screenshots of my my group messages, and it's just like I'm gonna melt so hard.
And you see, I was drinking the Kool-Aid so hard, ATG, back in 19, when Daniel and I were doing the podcast and 12 people were listening to us. I literally was saying, like, there's going to be management courses taught on Ed Orgeron, and that he was able to change, and that he learned from his mistakes at Ole Miss, and that he's changed his approach. And, look at the team that we had and this, that, and the other. And I must have said it the entire season, not even at the end, when it was obvious how good, the offense was, the defense and everything, and what an amazing team it was. But I just kept saying, oh my God, there's going to be management classes, about this and the turnaround and the ability to Nick Saban adapted, and he changed with the times. And that to me was why Les Miles got, he was just so stubborn, and he just would not change with the times. And he just was insisting on running Fournette into that line with, 20 guys on the other side. But so my take on Orgeron was completely different, especially in 2019.
Right.
I always loved O, and part of it is because his boys were the same age as me. They went to the rival high school, so I'd always see them around. So I had always loved O, and I still do. I understand why things went the way they did. Obviously, I do have my feelings about how things kind of played out with him and Woodward and some of the assistant coaching hires that they had post 2019. But, I understand why things went the way they did. And honestly, if, you told me when O got fired that we'd end up with Lane Kiffin in 2026, I'd be like, all right, let's roll with it. Because, that's who I wanted back in 2021, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, by all means, if that's what has to happen, then that's what has to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. I think part of my hatred towards O had to do with I loved Les. I knew it was time, but I loved Les. The 2011 season, probably my favorite year ever.
Yeah.
It didn't end the way we wanted it to.
We should have never played them. We should have never had to play them again.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I went to the SEC championship, and me and my dad were on the way home, and on the radio they announced the championship game, and I was just losing my shit in the passenger seat. I was so mad.
Right?
Yeah.
No, my brother, we call him Angry Capri on our podcast. Angry Capri has a friend that married into a very, very wealthy old Alabama family. So we were in their suite, where everything in the suite is personalized, autographed to this family, right? So you're standing there taking a leak, and there's a framed autographed poster by Bear Bryant, to this family. And LSU, of course, won 9-6 and everything. And when we left the stadium, I said to everybody, great game. And they're like, oh, great game. And I said, I don't want to see you again. I'm like, no chance. And I'm like, I jinxed it, so.
Yeah, 2011 was definitely painful. And what makes it worse now is listening to the former players talk about how unprepared for that game they were. T-Bob is the one who gets me the most upset about it, because he got benched for that game.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why are we trying to change anything that's going on in the offensive line right now? And two, Saban's going to come out and give you his best shot. How are you not over preparing for this game, if anything?
Right.
And they were entirely too flat and
Mhm.
couldn't do anything, obviously.
No.
But that's the painful part is we shouldn't have played them, but we also just didn't prepare the way we should have.
It's so crazy going back. That's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. And the game has changed so much. It's insane. It's so hard to keep up with. Like, just the modern offenses are crazy compared to how they were just 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
This year. Yeah, it's nuts. You go watch those games and it's I formation. Spencer Ware straight up the gut, just put his head down, gain 4 yards, and that's a good play. Yeah.
Had anybody even heard of an RPO in 2011?
No, what was it?
Probably
Was it the
not.
Seahawks who started doing that? And it was like that year that they were so good, nobody could stop them. It was Pete Carroll that kind of brought it into. I mean, I'm sure somebody else started it, but he brought it into like the big spotlight with the Seahawks, and it was like, how the hell do you stop this?
I think the RPO is the most Bush League thing that ever happened in football. I mean, it puts the defense in an impossible position, but like, I'm gonna have to get used to it because that Kiffin offense is full of them. So I guess I can't complain for too much longer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you watch like Jackson Dart do the Gruden QB camp before he got drafted, and it's like, it's so simplified. Like, it's good for the college quarterback. It doesn't necessarily prepare him for the NFL, but yeah, it's going to be night and day from what we've been used to, for sure.
Well, that's the thing is you wonder how, like, obviously Dart had a decent year and a couple others here and there since the RPO has been around have had decent seasons going from college to the NFL. But I feel like we've had more busts in that RPO era than we have had actual success stories. Like, 100%. And it's completely slowing down the development, no matter how much the RPO is used in the NFL nowadays. It's because these kids, that's all that they rely on basically at this point. Hell, that's about 75% of what we ran this year, and our offense looked like shit. Like, you got to have some extra mix and extra juice in there beyond just relying on that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like you said, it's slowing down the development. You're starting to see so many guys who are getting second opportunities in the NFL that are then succeeding because they got written off so fast because they get thrown into the fire and they're not ready.
Sam Darnold.
Well, Sam Darnold.
Chance number 6. Is that what he's on? I mean,
Sam Darnold, Baker, like,
right.
The list goes on. Like, there's been so many guys. Geno Smith. I mean, he was terrible this year, but he's a, it's
product
crazy.
of the system this year. Product of the system this year. The Raiders were never going to be anything really worth it. I mean, Janty is a can't miss prospect, but you also need an offensive line.
Offensive line, right?
That was such a dumb pick.
Yeah.
And you see, I would love for the Saints to get Love. Well, I didn't mean it like that, but I would love for the Saints to get Love at number 8, and team them up with Shuck. But they need at least one guard, a left guard, if they don't need a right guard, if they don't jettison Ruiz. Not to turn this into a Saints podcast, but
no, you're good. This can go anywhere you want.
That guy, you've seen him all over Twitter. From Iowa, Jennings Dunker. I don't know if Jennings is his first name, but Dunker. Oh my God, with the red mullet and oh my God, like if that doesn't scream, offensive lineman,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody on Twitter is fighting over the guy. Like I see every team. It's like, oh, he's got to be our offensive lineman. He's got to be our starting guard. And like, oh my God, please let him be there at 42. When the Saints pick in the second round, but. Yeah, 100%. I would love for them to have a young stud running back so that they could pair it with Shuck. And I mean, it's surprising how quickly I follow Nick Underhill with New Orleans football. And shout out to Nick. But like he was on the not the love train, but the Shuck train like pretty early. And I was like, this is pretty surprising, like how much this journalist is in love with Shuck. So but hope springs eternal, right? We could talk ourselves into Brian Kelly. We talked ourselves into anybody that's with our team sooner or later, whether it's the stale bread or not. Like this is the best piece of stale bread I've ever had in my life. Damn it. Go to hell, Ole Miss and Alabama. And, so it's it's exciting times. And we talked about LSU football and baseball around the corner and gymnastics and everything else, but even the Saints, like it's a different feel. And just that this kid gets it, you know what I'm saying? Like Derek Carr wasn't even in New Orleans during the Super Bowl, anything like that. And then Shucks riding in the Mardi Gras parade already. Like he just gets it, or at least even if he doesn't get it, he's smart enough to have people around him that get it to say, this is what you're going to do this offseason. Like stay here, immerse yourself, but Lane Kiffin's everywhere.
Right.
I graduated from Brother Martin High School. I saw him with Eastern Royal. He posted the thing. I'm like, when was the last time the head coach of LSU was at Brother Martin? And like, I love my high school, this, that, and the other. But I mean, it's not St. Aug, it's not Edna Carr, it's not even Rummel. I mean, Rummel's how many LSU Tigers have come out of
Chase,
Rummel, and all of them. But so I was like, yeah, like holy shit. But like, no, Lane is totally doing a fantastic job of immersing himself, into the culture, as everybody's saying. So we lost. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Me and Zach have talked about just the fact that this staff like posts everywhere they go makes it seem like they're putting in 10 times the effort. Like we talked about, there's never any visibility specifically with Brian Kelly. I think the assistant coaches were probably doing the same type of thing we're getting out of the assistants now, but I'm not sure if Brian Kelly really was traveling around like Lane Kiffin is now. And he sure as hell wasn't making himself known. And we talked about like, if you're the coach or principal of Brother Martin or, all these schools in Louisiana he's going to, and, Lane Kiffin's coming, taking a picture with you, posting on anything like that. That's very cool for them. That's going to help build the relationship. So it's just the little things like that I think LSU fans are starting to really appreciate because especially during like the lull of the offseason, now the portal is over. Like if this was last year, we would really just be sitting on our butts waiting for baseball to start and talking about spring practice. But Kiffin's giving us something every single day. Like he's in North Louisiana, he's in South Louisiana, he's Miami. Okay, now they're getting Boudin. Like the guy is everywhere. And I think going from Brian Kelly to Lane Kiffin, it's so night and day that I think honestly LSU's probably would be the most appreciative fan base of like his online persona.
Right. Well, I think college football changed so much from when Brian Kelly first got to LSU into the middle of this year, with the NIL, because he kept saying, well, we're going to supplement with NIL. And I'm sorry, with the portal. I'm sorry, guys. But, but we're still going to build with high school class. And at the time, 21, 22, like that made sense. But then all of a sudden, it's like, it's not that world anymore, So it's an amazing time, certainly.
And
100%. I think. No, go ahead.
We went from being the Brian Kelly last year, prior to the portal, saying we're not in the business of buying players, to we are spending the most money on the roster of anybody else in the country.
Right.
We're bringing in 40 guys. Like I don't expect that to be the case every year.
Right.
But with this cycle through the coaching change, it's so nice to see us being active in that.
Right.
Like we had, a top-rated class last year and this year, but the difference between the two is night and day.
Not even. Right.
It's so nice to see. Nice to see.
No,
100%. And I think going back to your point, Zombie, about Brian Kelly, like not wanting to buy into the portal, the first year he got here, when he had to use the portal, was his most successful. I don't think that's a coincidence. Like he came in with, it's been said ad nauseum, but 30 whatever players after the Texas Bowl. They had to hit the portal hard. They had a lot of people actually hit, and that team went 10-2 in a year where, they won 10 games with the SEC championship in a year where, to be honest, Jay Daniels was not good for the first half of that year at all. I mean, I remember a lot of people wanted Nuss to start halfway through that season. I think after the Florida game, he had a big time showing came out, but I think he didn't adapt to it. I think if he would have became LSU's coach in 2016, things might have been different, but I think he lost the drive too. I think the expectations of LSU really chewed him up and spit him out. I think that also kind of led to him not caring as much. And then he said, you know what, I'll throw some money at it with that $1 million match. And they did this year. And we talked about it on Wednesday on our show. Like, I wonder where we would be right now if Nuss came into the year fully healthy. Like, I don't think anyone really knows what actually happened with Nuss. I think we can all admit some sort of injury. Now, what the extent of that was, and did he re-injure it? That's up for debate. But if he came into this year fully healthy, like, the team this year is loaded. I had a tweet I put up yesterday. I'm telling you, in 5 years from now, you're going to look back at this roster, especially on offense, and be like, this is full of guys who are having good NFL careers. It's going to be like, how did this not work? And
they're having fantastic Senior Bowls. Yeah, like that all week long. Exactly.
Yeah, right? I mean, the wide receivers look like world beaters.
Exactly.
Out there.
It's like, oh my God.
And Nuss is making throws again.
Right.
Like he's making sideline throws that you would see him wince after making while we were still running him out there starting. And obviously, had we transitioned to MVB earlier, things probably would have gone the same way. But hindsight is 2020. Like he shouldn't have been playing for as long as he did to begin with. Right. If you rest him during Southeastern and play MVB, and allow him some time to get healthy, you can rest him during La Tech and Southeastern. You still probably win both of those games, and you buy more health for Nuss.
Right.
Like the mismanagement of the 100%. Whole Nussmeier injury is the most baffling part of this season.
Right.
And it will always be.
But look how much times have changed from last season. What do we pay MVP? $140,000, right? To come be QB2? $140,000. And I mean, guys during the season, I'm like, why are we playing this guy? We paid him $140,000. And Longstreet is what? What is Longstreet?
I think it was 1.2.
Yeah.
1.2.
How much for Clark, for Landon Clark?
I think he was
mid to high six figures, I bet.
Yeah.
He had a lot of other teams on him too.
But like a year ago, we were clamoring for the backup quarterback that we were paying $140,000 to. It's beyond crazy. And look, my significant other is an accountant, and a very conservative accountant at that, right? And I come in here and I show her the Twitter machine, like Coach O used to call it, and I'm like, the left tackle that LSU's after from Colorado, like $4 million, $5 million, like Oregon and Miami, and she's just like, I'm like, there's too much money in it. There's too much money in the TV contracts and the bowls and the playoffs. And I'm like, you got to spend that money to be in it, So it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
If you had a college football fan in 2015 be in a coma for 10 years and he woke up to this, I can't even imagine what people would think. Because, we're talking about our third string quarterback making like what, 400, 500 grand.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. And my theory with the Nuss thing is I think something had to have happened after the Clemson game and that La Tech game. I think something in practice, because I know pretty much for a fact something happened at the end of fall camp, right? Because I know that all the people that go to practice said that last scrimmage they went to, he was like throwing the ball underhand and it was like really weird. Came in that Clemson game, that was like the best offensive game of the year.
Sure.
I thought even Sloan had a great plan. He had that fade ball that we got screwed on to Berrien Brown. That was an amazing NFL type throw. And then a week later, we play La Tech, and second play of the game, we got Berrien Brown wide open for a 60-yard touchdown. He ducks it like 10 yards under, which we've never seen Nuss. So I think something happened in between there, because I know the story that Nuss is going with now. I see him saying at the Senior Bowl is that something during the A&M game. I don't really buy that. I think that was at the point where the fans were calling for MVB so much. Since the Ole Miss game halfway through that, I think it was just one of those things. And we had been saying it, like, they're going to come out and say he can't play anymore and put Van Buren in, and that's going to be it. It's not a bad plan. I get it, the optics for the NFL, but I just want to know, the mismanagement on this injury was terrible. But to be honest, if they had played it any different and say, going into the Ole Miss game, started Van Buren, like I don't think it change any wins or losses.
No, right. But it just total mismanagement.
But it was the lying, I think, that really pissed the fan base off, coupled with what you said earlier, where he's calling everyone spoiled. Which it's funny to laugh about. I think that had a big part to play in why he ended up losing his job. I think it was a decent little part of it. I think that really pissed whatever remaining supporters he had, because you're not at Stanford or some like school where people might buy into football when the team's relatively good or whatever. LSU fans know football because this is everyone's like number one thing they care about in the fall. So when we're scraping by Florida by 10 points at home in an electric environment, and we have 5 picks,
5
and
turnovers,
a touchdown, and we only win by 10 points.
Right.
And you're going to say that we're spoiled when we should have blown that team out by 30
Right.
plus. Like, you're not going to be able to sell that to a fan base that actually knows football.
Right.
And that's the thing I don't think he ever got. I think he thinks he was still up in Notre Dame where, like, they not trashing Notre Dame fans, but like if you're comparing the football knowledge of LSU fans versus Notre Dame fans, even on a drunk Saturday night in Death Valley, I would be willing to bet LSU fans know more ball than Notre Dame fans. And you're going to sit up here and tell us that we're spoiled, telling us, like, just basically gaslighting the entire fan base.
Absolutely.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
You're not
Like,
really seeing what you're really seeing with your own eyes. Right. You're
Right.
not seeing that he can't throw the ball. Right.
Well, I can tell you, the ball on him getting fired definitely started rolling after Vanderbilt.
Right.
When I was texted a picture of Woodward outside the stadium, and you know the meme of I can't remember what actor it is, but he's like sitting outside of his apartment complex with a cigarette in his hand, and he's just like totally distraught and dead. I got a picture of that of somebody sent me a picture of Woodward, like almost in that exact same pose and like mood and expression. I was like, oh, this is over, man. This is over. And then A&M happens, and
That's right.
No, I think the Vandy game was it for me, because if you weren't going to be able to make the playoffs with this team, with this investment, I know it's not even, I think last year's team is going to be like 30% less expensive than this year's team is, but still from where we had come, I mean, we hit on so many dudes in the portal on defense, and you just knew it wasn't going to happen, right? One of my first YouTube videos was breaking down the buyouts for like Joe Sloan, Hankton, Brad Davis. And it's like, if you're going to bring Brian Kelly back because you got to save the $10 million between this year and next year on his buyout, well, you're going to have to pay out $7 million to replace the offensive staff. Then you're going to have to go out, get a new offensive staff. You're not going to be able to sell the fan base on some scrubs. You're going to have to get some relatively high profile guy. And what offensive coordinator was going to want to tie himself to Brian Kelly? And then you're going to have to let him build out his staff. And it's just like, it never made financial sense if we all agree, which we all did, that Brian Kelly was not the best guy for the job. So, yeah, I think after that Vandy game, you're probably right. Behind the scenes, I think Landry was pulling some strings, and he was very eager to. He was probably happy that we lost to Vandy and got our ass kicked by A&M so he can start leaving his mark. But it led to quite a wild couple of weeks before the Kiffin sweepstakes really got kicked off. That was one of the lower times to be an LSU fan. I don't know how y'all felt, but when Landry was running his mouth and the national media was kind of just poo-pooing on us for how everything was going down, it kind of felt dark. It felt like this was not going to work out very good for us.
No, I mean, like I said, we're going to eat the stale bread. We're going to say it's the best thing that we've ever had. But I mean, Lane Kiffin to suffer through. But not only Lane Kiffin, but I mean, guys, we have a Blake Baker defense coupled with, I mean, it feels like a video game where you can mash your teams together or errors together or something. And I mean, like, we talked about it the other day, and my brother said to me, he's like, well, what do you think your expectations are? And I'm like, semifinals. And he's like, whoa. Like, we may have to play on the road or this. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like the talent that we brought in, and I forget the dollar amount with that, but the amount of money that we spent to acquire that level of talent, and it's a Lane Kiffin. Now, of course, we realize Charlie Weiss is going to the NFL any moment now, according to everybody on Twitter and NFL Twitter. But but a Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss offense, and a Blake Baker defense, damn straight this team better get to the semifinals. But like Marcus Spears said Sunday morning, October 26th, the day that Brian Kelly got fired, before he got fired, Spears said, we're not talking about the old days when LSU had to be one of the last two standing to play for a natty. It's not when it had to be four. Like, LSU absolutely should be one of those 12 teams. And if they're talking about expanding the playoffs, of course, LSU should be one of the 12 teams in a playoff. You want to miss it once every 5 or 6 years, I'll let it slide. Because in those 5 or 6 years, we've won a natty. So it just
exactly.
That's, spoiled. That's our expectation. And 3 of the last 4 coaches won national championships here. The worst head coach at Ole Miss ever won a national championship here. The guy that ate grass won a national championship here. Like, fucking am spoiled. Excuse the language, but this is LSU, man. It is just different. Not to be all rah-rah, but it's different.
And how much of a black mark on Brian Kelly's legacy is that? Like, not only have you never won a national championship, you go to LSU where the last 3 have won a national championship. Especially if Kiffin wins one and you're the gap coach that didn't win one. Like, that's bad. And like I know that there's been legal stuff going on behind the scenes, but I really wonder if that's why teams have not even tried to kick the tires on interviewing him for a head coaching job, is because you were given Louisiana talent, LSU resources. You had more than what O and Miles had and what Saban had, and you fumbled that bag. Substantially fumbled that bag.
You guys would know. I'm sorry. Zach.
Go ahead.
No, but you guys probably know better than me. But have you heard this one? An assistant coach would come to Brian Kelly and it's like, look, I got 5-star Purple Mafia on right here. Yes. Hey, coach, just say a quick hi to hello. No, schedule.
You got to schedule that.
Yeah.
Check my calendar,
And Lane Kiffin's jumping on planes to go meet somebody at security before they get on the plane to go to Miami or twice. And Brian Kelly cannot even take the time to FaceTime a young guy. I'm like, oh my God. It just, but if we had to get through Brian Kelly, if we had to suffer and pay penance for Brian, with Brian Kelly to get to Lane Kiffin and Blake Baker for a year or 2 or 3, hopefully, and hopefully some national championships. Okay.
Eat shit now, eat steak later.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah. There you go, man.
That's one of my go-tos. Eat shit now, eat steak later. And right now, that steak's about to come out from the back, and they're serving it to you. They're putting, some nice garlic on there, some nice rosemary and thyme. It's cooked to the perfect temperature. We just got to wait to eat it now.
Zach, when you put that on a T-shirt, I'm buying it, okay? I'm not stealing it from you, brother. But when you put it on the T-shirt, look, it's going to be the first. I'm a big guy. I like him a little loose, whatever. The first 3X that you sell, and you know it's mine, right?
I got you. That one's on me.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Do we know where our host went? ATG? I hope
who knows?
We appreciate you putting this together. No, this is fun, but we wish you were with us. But,
I see my partner Dave Billiot in the comments. What's up, Dave?
Okay, there you go. Let's go back to the draft, right? I love playing the mock draft. Now I'm cheap, so I do the Pro Football Network, the free one, whatever. Exactly, I love it, right? But like, guys, Lance Hurd was like in the 100 range back before he announced he was coming out, and I can't think of the tackle's name from Oregon, but a defensive tackle. And I would see the name over and over and over again. And you just play it and you're trading and you're being crazy and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, all right, Lance Hurd's like, yeah, I'm not turning pro. And the defensive tackle from Oregon says, I'm not turning pro. Now, the quarterback from Oregon, he should have gone back. Like, I think he needed a little bit more seasoning. But it's just, the money that's in college football. And then it used to be all the juniors, especially at LSU under Les Miles, not at Alabama under Saban. They would stick around because they knew they were going to win another natty. They knew they were going to be millionaires when they got drafted in the NFL. But the LSU guys were cashing out early to go try to chase that money because they knew we weren't going to do that. But now the underclassmen declaring for the NFL draft has really dropped off, the last year or two, especially this year. And so much so, like, the NFL is going to have to throw some more money at the second round and third round guys to make sure that pool is there. I mean, Tyler Shuck has got a 4-year, $10.5 million contract. Now, it's fully guaranteed for the 40th pick. But, I mean, Levitt's making 5, 6. Dante Moore is making 7.5 or whatever the rumor is. like, the NFL is going to have to address that at some point.
It's better for college football, but I think that's definitely a spot where the NFL is going to struggle. Yeah. And I think, if anything, in my opinion, I listen to Josh Pate a lot. And one of his things is, if you're the NFL and you're college football, how do you not come to the table together and work out something to have a more collaborative partnership? Because there is no minor league system. There is no G League. There's no, second tier, third tier leagues for the NFL. It is the NFL, and college football is where these players develop.
Right.
So they're going to have to work something out when it comes to TV stuff, the amount players are getting paid on both sides. And I think the collective bargaining agreement is coming up here shortly, if I'm not mistaken, with the NFL and how much they can pay their rookie guys and everything like that. So it baffles me that there is no partnership besides, we'll just draft all the guys outside of college.
Right. But do you see perhaps, and that's an excellent point, but do you see perhaps the NFL and the Super League that's going to be formed between like the SEC and the Big Ten and some of those, you could see that, instead of all this college football, you could see the NFL pointing to, the blue bloods or the major programs and say, okay, let's work with you guys and then partner, like you said, with, the agreements and the money and all of that. But
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily want to see, the Big Ten SEC split off, because I do think that would be not as great for the sport of college football. But if that's what it has to happen to get to some form of collaboration because that also fixes the schedule. Like if you can work out the TV contracts and everything to where college football and the NFL are working together, and you don't have to cram everything and play the national championship game on a random Monday night
in late January, right?
Correct. Then if that's what has to happen, then it sucks, but okay, I'll take it. But I think they definitely have to have some form of collaboration at some point.
Right. Okay. What's another topic? we lost.
We need our host back.
I didn't write anything down tonight. Usually I got notes. Daniel will send, okay, guys, this is what we're talking about, and so I'm like, okay, let me take my notes down and all this, and I'm just like, just bullshit and all tonight. All right, so how did y'all become LSU fans?
Mafia, so it's probably a little more interesting than mine.
Yeah, so I actually, people are gonna hate me after this. I grew up a huge Florida fan. My mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, my entire family all went to UF. So I grew up a huge Florida fan. Hated LSU like with a passion, but I ended up going to LSU. I'll just be honest, couldn't get into Florida. So LSU is not too stingent on them academics. I got in. Remember, my friends like, you should just apply at LSU because I just want to go somewhere and have like SEC sports. And I'm from Dallas, so I applied there. I got in like 2 days. Like everywhere else you apply, it takes like a month to hear back. Man, I got in 2 days. Oh shit, okay. Yeah, I went to LSU. My freshman year was 2019, so that was probably about the best time of my life. I've always been a huge.
It's all downhill from here, Purple.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally on top of the world. But no, my whole family's huge college football fans, so I always loved college football. But I think it's interesting because I have the perspective of like I know what other people, our rivals, think about us because I hated LSU for the longest time. So I always think that's interesting. I know so much about Florida. I know so much about Tennessee, Georgia, just because that's who I used to argue with all the time when I was in high school. So yeah, definitely a little more unique than probably a lot of people just like from Louisiana grew up, went to LSU. But glad I ended up here.
Right. Zach?
Yeah. That's basically my story. I mean, I'm born and raised born in New Orleans, lived on the North Shore for the majority of my life. So it's hard not to be an LSU fan when you grow up, an hour away.
Right.
So my first year was 2016, and my senior year was 2019, 2020. So I got the experience. Not only that for my senior year, but I was working for. And I was obviously already a fan at that point, but then like just the fondness grew so much larger in 2019. And I was doing student TV station for LSU at the time, Tiger TV, and spent the majority of that season either in the press box or on the field. So it was like,
awesome.
I went to go take my first normal TV job in Lake Charles, and my boss, who would end up being my boss, he was a sports director at KPLC. He was interviewing me like, you've already experienced anything anybody would want to possibly experience in this business already. Are you sure you want this job? And I was like, I think so. So it just 2019 just made the heart grow so much fonder. I mean, you can see in the background, I've got everything hung up over there. I've got a thing of all my credentials right here, and actually you can't see it, but I actually have a glove somebody left on the field after the national championship.
Right. ATG.
Oh, man.
Welcome back.
Guys, let me explain. I did not mean to leave so suddenly. I did send you guys a message.
Okay.
I'm coming back, but AP is going to take my place for now. I have 3 women in this room, and 2 of them are pregnant.
Nice. Congratulations.
Fertile room.
No congratulations to me. Trust me. Yeah, trust me. I sure shit hope not.
Right.
But yeah.
No, you take care of the ladies.
I'll be back soon.
Okay.
I
We're
did
here.
not
We're
mean
just
to
shooting
leave
shit.
so abruptly. I
all
kept
good.
looking back, and you guys were flowing well. So
Yeah.
So I didn't feel as bad. I just wanted to explain myself. I will be back. I promise.
Right.
I
CJ
stayed at
says-
football ops till 1 a.m. I had work at 5. I'll be back.
Yeah. My story isn't as cool as you guys. AP, how are you tonight, sir?
Doing good, guys. How are y'all? Sorry, I'm joining late.
Good. No, appreciate you jumping in. We're just shooting the shit and talking about all things LSU, all things ATG with
Wow.
the
Did I
pregnant
really
ladies.
hear you say that you're a Brother Martin grad?
Yeah. Is our friendship over already?
My fellow Crusader. Crusader.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 03.
Okay. Very good. I'm
Yeah,
old,
man.
AP. I am old. I graduated in 84. So you know Kenny Spellman.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
yeah. So Kenny and I were classmates.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Coach
So-
Spellman is my guy, man.
Yeah, right. He is awesome. So
I
yeah.
mean,
Like
I
over
was
here,
overhearing
well,
you
you can't
guys-
see there.
No, I was overhearing you guys talk about Brian Kelly and how he doesn't walk the halls, and it's something I made a comment about that on one of my streams the other night. He absolutely does not come to New Orleans at all, and I can. My son is 16. My son played at Nakar. He plays at Kennedy now, so I'm at his school every day watching practice, and I'm very close with Hayward Howard and his son and how he went to Texas, and my son played D-line, so he was close with Corey Adams and with Richard and all those guys. And being at that school and seeing the experiences that he had, I can tell you the coaches that came there. And LSU was not well represented. Now, did they have a connection? Of course, they had a direct line through Bryce, but it was more phone calls. It was more personal interactions. But having a presence,
right?
No. Lane Kiffin has done more just in this last week.
2 months. Yeah, right.
This is the last
week.
Right. In the last week than what Brian Kelly has done in 4 years. And that's making a huge statement, and it's making a huge impression just on the kids, like the amount of kids and teammates that my son is telling me about, how they're excited to and wondering if he's going to pop up. It's almost like he's a tooth fairy now. They're just, are we next? Like, what do we have to do to get him here?
Yeah, right.
So it's creating a major buzz. So I look, we're living in some good days right now.
Right.
And Lane Kiffin's about to feed a lot of families with what he's doing.
Right. No, absolutely. So AP, we've just been kicking it around for an hour. Just tell everybody that's watching and listening, just tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into doing what you're doing, and bringing us up to speed on you.
Absolutely. I'm just a black guy from New Orleans, born and raised. How did I get to doing what I'm doing? I went and bought this here mic from off of Amazon. I bought the camera from off Amazon. I plugged that shit into my computer and I turned it on and just started talking into it. That's basically it. So to be honest with you, I own and operate restaurant franchises, and I've been in the restaurant business since I was 18 years old, part-time. I went to LSU in 2004. From 2004 to 2006, I didn't finish because life's. I had to make some adult decisions at a very young age, and but didn't stop my love and my passion for my school. And it's funny because I'm actually going to go back and get my degree here soon.
That's awesome.
But But I didn't realize, even in school, exactly what I love doing. You know, like
Mhm.
I got in the restaurant game, and me being who I am, I wanted to see how far I can push it and how far I can go in it. So of course, you know, I don't like having a boss. So of course, I had to end up becoming the boss,
Right.
and that's kind of how I got into the ownership, just from that drive of
Right.
my own. But I love talking sports.
Mhm.
I consume everything LSU, everything Saints, unfortunately, everything Pelicans too.
Sorry for you.
I put it on for the boot, and that's because it's where I'm from, and
Right.
part of the reason behind that is because I take pride in where I'm from. You know,
Mhm.
it's easy to talk down on Louisiana. I mean, hell, we're from here. We know what it's about. We know the bad. You know, but it's like family.
Right.
I can talk about why this place is
Right.
bad.
Right.
I'll be
You
damned
can't.
if a
Right.
bumfuck from Mississippi
Right.
try to come over here and tell us why we're bad.
Right. Right.
Fuck you, guy, whoever
Exactly.
you may be.
Right.
Like, so I put that on. You know, I take pride in my state and in my city and what we have and what we represent. And LSU is the crown jewel of Louisiana. You know, and that's why I'm so passionate behind it. It's why I consume everything from it. For the longest time, the Saints were the laughing stock, and it felt like for a while we were going to slip back into those dark days. The Pelicans can only shine bright whenever there's an eclipse around. So there's that, and outside of that, you know, we got Mardi Gras and the Strawberry Festival. Whoop-dee.
Right.
So
I'm a
you know,
big Mardi Gras guy, though, man. Love
look,
Mardi Gras.
I am not. I'm sitting up here with a piece of Randazzo's king cake on my desk right now. Like who doesn't do Mardi Gras? But
Right.
but when your call to fame is we get drunk and have a party on the street, ain't really, you know, like that's not really a lot to
Well,
live up to.
Did
But
you see
nobody
AP?
parties like how we party.
I used to live on Long Island. My ex-wife's from Long Island. She's in New York City now. But when I lived on Long Island, everyone was like, "Oh, you're from New Orleans," and all the girls that you went to high school with, but knew, like, they're all the New Orleans girls lifting their shirts on Bourbon Street. And I'm like, no, it's all the
No.
girls from Iowa and Minnesota
Right.
and Long Island that
And Long
come to
Island.
New Orleans and lift their shirt and go crazy. You know, back in the day, I'm like, no, that's not
Yep.
New Orleanian girls.
Yeah, like,
it's
we
not
hate
Dominican or
Bourbon
Cabrini
Street.
girls, or Abramson girls out on Bourbon Street doing that. It's not that at
Right.
all.
Like
You know,
it's funny. My wife and I had that conversation the other day. You know, like someone she had met. I think she was in Walmart. And somebody just struck up a conversation. They were from out of town, and like, yeah, we're trying to do what the locals do and go to Bourbon. And my wife bust out laughing. She's like, locals don't go to Bourbon.
Right.
Like, Bourbon's a rite of passage. By the time you're
Yeah.
a junior in high school, you wore Bourbon out.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
get from out of here, man.
Right.
So, you know, like, but you know, going back to what I was saying, like that's why I'm so passionate behind Louisiana. It's where I'm from. Like I said, it's easy for people to talk bad about it and not highlight the good. So when we have the good to show off, of course we're going to show it off. It's why no other city can host as many Super Bowls as New Orleans.
Right.
It's why there's no place on earth like Death Valley. It's why there's no place in the world like Louisiana with hunting, fishing, with sports, with outdoors, with community, with food.
People,
You
right?
can't replicate what the boot has.
Right.
You can't. And you can call us slow, slack-jawed, stupid, whatever. We will feed you.
Right.
We will get you drunk.
Entertain you.
Smile on your face.
Right.
Make you comfortable. And as soon as you go to sleep, we will kill you in your sleep and then bury you outside of a party. That's what the boot is.
Right.
Flip that.
Right.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Piss us off.
Right. Right.
That needs to be Visit Louisiana's new marketing tag.
Real talk. Don't piss us off. And Purple, I heard you saying that you grew up a Florida fan. It's funny. One of my best friends, born and raised in Baton Rouge, currently to this day is a Florida fan. Dropped on his head. You know, I've been trying to baptize him in purple and gold. We were actually at the LSU Florida game in 2019 together. And it's funny because the girl that he was with, he was married to, and she at the time Like they started doing, at the end of the game after Stingley caught that pick, we started doing the Gator chomp in the stands.
Yeah.
And she looked at him and said, "Well, look, they're doing the Gator chomp." And he said, "It's time to fucking go." Let's just say that marriage did not last too much longer after that game. It's a time, and I like to give him shit behind that as often as I possibly can. As a matter of fact, I sent them a text message the other day with the screenshot of the portal class, and I told them, I said, "Good morning. This is just my daily reminder that Lane Kiffin is our head coach."
Oh,
And you
not yours
with G5 John. So have fun.
Exactly. Oh, and they'll swear to you that they didn't want him now. After all that shit.
Yeah.
I'll swear to it.
No.
I mean, did you look at their portal class? Me and Zach were talking about this on Wednesday. I hadn't thought about it because you don't hear their name in anything. They did nothing in the portal. I mean, they got Singleton for Auburn, who, he's a good receiver, but they really did nothing. And it's like, that's what I said. I said, does Summerall know that he's in the SEC and not the AAC anymore? Like, I worry. I told Zach this because he was such an obvious second choice. Like, all the Florida fans that I know right now, they're all bought into him. Like, he speared that first recruit he got, and he's telling them they can't wear the Gator logo, do they, or anything. Like, okay, I remember my first JV football practice.
Right.
I'm telling you, the second they lose some games next year, if they lose games early, the flip on him is going to be incredible, I think.
Right.
Oh,
it's going to.
You don't have a chance.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too.
Give it.
It's going to be the AD first, and then it's going to be, and then the next AD is going to be have Summerall on the hot seat.
I like seeing Florida cry more than I like seeing Alabama cry.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Alabama has a right to be upset about things. They actually have a standard. Bear Bryant really was the GOAT before Saban. Mm-hmm. And while a little bit of the valor that they have now is stolen partially from LSU, Saban still put them into a stratosphere that other colleges are going to want to try to come close behind. However, Florida does not. They have delusions of grandeur.
Right.
They think that they are on par with the likes of Alabama. Mm-hmm. You bastards are not on par with the likes of LSU.
Right.
Y'all are not on the same level as Georgia. You're damn sure y'all are fighting for relevancy against Clemson. Mm-hmm. Like, when they cry, I love to see them cry. I love those teams.
I've got a question for y'all because I had this conversation with my brother-in-law who's a Florida grad. What's the best program in Florida? Is it Miami or is it Florida?
Oh! I thought you were in school.
Miami.
Miami.
I'd say Miami too.
Miami.
Yeah.
Miami. I mean,
but every Florida fan will claim, "Oh no, we're a much better program," and I'm like, that may be an inside thing, but from the outside, I'm taking the U.
Yeah. Miami was the collegiate version of the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then if you look at it, even after that, they've still had relative recent success. It wasn't on large scales, but you can see that they were still fighting for it. I mean, before Spurrier came, who the fuck was Florida really?
Right.
And then after Spurrier, you had a quick run with Urban. And then it fell off. Like, you caught lightning in a bottle. Like, who is Florida is not. You can tell the history of college football without the University of Florida. They're a blip. And that's how I look. And that's how I look at the relevancy of a team in a sport. Mm-hmm. If I can tell your story without you, if I can tell the history of that sport without you in it, you don't really mean that much. And history is going to weigh this Indiana run that just happened. What Kurt Signetti did last year was remarkable, and following that up with this year was incredible. But does that really constitute them as being one of the greatest teams of all time? Hell no. Like, you won a championship. Congratulations. Plenty of schools have come along, have won championships, and have been forgotten about. Like. Yeah. We're not going to sit up here and praise you for doing something that every team starts off every August with the same ambition of doing. Great, you did it, and I understand the fact that you were the losingest program in the sports history. Well, guess whose fault that is? It's your own. Congratulations.
It really
you
says
made
more
that
about Signetti than them.
That part,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I was about,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I was getting to. I would consider Signetti a greater success story and prominent story than I would the actual program of Indiana.
100%.
You can't tell the story of college football without what Kurt Signetti did. You damn sure can't tell the story of the Indiana football program without what Kurt Signetti did.
Right.
So
does Kurt Signetti have his eyes on the Alabama job?
that part, which I would not be surprised if
sure hope not.
they go 8-4
right, Purple.
again, miss out on the playoffs, that job won't be open. Because what did they do in the program this offseason? What did they do this point? They took on more losses than anything. And that was something that I was going to get into tonight on my own stream, is if you look at this LSU schedule, while it looks daunting because of the logos that we have on it, if you look at what these teams lost and what they gained, it's really not the teams that you think that you got to be worried about. It's Texas, Ole Miss, and Clemson have more intrigue than Alabama and A&M right now.
Tennessee
A&M
too.
stood pat.
Yeah.
A&M relatively stood pat. If you're stagnant, you're falling behind.
Right.
So you can add another loss to their record, and I think that loss comes at LSU.
Yeah, especially it's like you said, it's at LSU. It's a whole different brand.
Right.
You hopefully have a healthy quarterback at that point.
You got to look at the teams like Kentucky, who actually went out and did something. Kentucky did more in the portal this offseason than what Alabama did.
Yep.
Alabama was a sinking ship. They tried to put corks in golf ball sized holes in a boat. It's not looking too good in Tuscaloosa right now. And while they're relying on a relatively volume loaded recruiting class, that's not where you want to be in this era of college football.
Right.
So I think that they're going to take a step back.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's in a similar boat, losing their. I mean, we don't even know what's going on with their quarterback situation. Similar to Ole Miss.
They got a hearing for Joey Aguilar coming up on like the 10th or the 12th. Like it's still a couple weeks away, and I don't know. I shared this yesterday on Twitter, but somebody put out a picture of George McIntyre, and he looked just like Blake Groupie,
right?
He looks like Blake Groupie. Like I would not be confident if that's my starting quarterback I'm rolling out in the SEC. Like,
yeah, I saw that picture. That was pretty funny. They were calling it the generic creative player in Madden.
That was me. Yeah, that's exactly what I put. Like
oh, that was you. That was your tweet.
Yeah, that was my.
Yeah, I knew I saw that. I didn't realize that was you. I didn't put two together.
It's the same creator player model that they use to make the same guy. And I wasn't comfortable with Blake Groupie running out as my damn kicker. I damn sure would be comfortable running out as my quarterback. Like, what the hell are we talking about?
Hey, we were in on McIntyre though, for a while.
Yeah, but why? He was insurance policy for Bryce.
Yeah, we could have used that insurance policy.
He was an insurance policy for Bryce. And in all honesty, with that staff and their evaluation, do we really trust that now? Like, I don't trust anything so if you look at most of the recruiting classes that they've had, they're either all gone, have been blown out by this staff that came in, or they just didn't pan out. Like, outside of Will Campbell and Emory Jones and Harold Perkins, even Harold Perkins was a little bit of a letdown. What notable recruits did they bring in as freshmen? Like, you look at Harold Perkins' recruiting class. What players do you see that really stuck around and did what they were expecting them to do? Right.
No, and I hate when people would give Kelly credit for like Emory Jones, Will Campbell. Those guys were already committed.
That was not his recruiting class.
The gem of that class for Kelly and them was getting Harold Perkins.
But even in that was Blake Baker's work. Blake Baker did the work for Harold Perkins before he left.
Yeah. Blake
Baker was able to get Harold Perkins to flip as the linebacker coach. And people forget that.
Well,
and then Kelly blew him out.
Right.
And then how much? So like, but from year one to now, how much did Park really develop?
None.
He's
Right.
impact definitely
He
regressed.
stayed the same. He stayed stagnated.
Well, I
And
mean, I think that was because they were trying to prepare him for the next level when they should have just put him in the best spot to succeed in college. Because it's like, hey, you might not play here in the NFL, but you had 45 career sacks at LSU. Like you're an intriguing prospect. I feel like you're a more intriguing prospect than you were looking lost.
Yep.
Like you did.
Correct.
They could have did with him what Clemson did with Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, we don't know what position that you play, but damn it, you gonna play somewhere.
Right.
Like, you just see ball, hit ball. You're the
Let the
fastest
NFL
freak
figure out where
athlete.
you're going to play.
Right.
Right.
Like you're the
Yeah.
fastest freakish athlete out here. Make a name for yourself. You'll get drafted. Don't worry about
I mean,
that.
we kind of talked about that earlier. Lane doesn't necessarily prepare his quarterbacks for the NFL.
Nope.
He gives his quarterbacks the best chance to succeed on his team, which is what you want to do. I mean,
Yep.
who gives a shit? I mean, it was a recruiting pitch forever. Yeah, we get guys to the league, but like now, traditional recruiting is over. You
it's
got
a
the NIL
business,
package.
man.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a business, man, and you got to have the players that that you can utilize within your program system. And if the NFL is where you want to be, then get out there and make plays. If you ball, you get the call.
Right.
Plain and simple. If you ball, you get the call. That rule will never change. I don't care where you are or who you're playing for, what logo's on the side of the helmet. If you're not on the field making plays, they don't want you. Like they had teams trading up to draft Trey Lance from a COVID year. Like
Right.
let's not forget that. And I like what Lane does for his offense, to be honest with you, because your size doesn't matter. Like, how do you move the ball within the system? Are you responsible with the ball? Do you turn it over? And can you make plays with your feet? That's what it boils down to. And I had Carter Bryant on the show Wednesday, and he and I were talking, and he was asking me if I felt like Sam Levitt would win the Heisman. And like I told him that night, there's a lot outside of just being a quarterback that it takes to get to New York. But I was saying I wouldn't say it then, but I'm going to say this now. After I thought about it, if LSU goes 10-2, 11-1, makes the playoffs, and Sam Levitt is healthy in this offense,
He'll be in New York.
He will be in New York. He will undoubtedly be in New York. And the reason why I'm changing my stance on that, I look back at what Jaden Daniels did, and Sam Levitt's kind of set up to be in the same trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have the things that Jaden had to overcome in year one as a starter at LSU. He doesn't have that same fear of holding the ball. If he sees it, he letting that fucker rip.
Right.
And I think he's going to make enough plays and enough noise to push himself into that level. He's already had the talent. And then I look at it like this too. If you put everything on the same level, Kenny Dillingham versus Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, who's the better offensive designer and play caller?
That's not a knock on Dillingham
debate.
either.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not a knock on Dillingham
And that's
either.
not-
It just shows how good Lane is.
Right. It's just how good Lane Kiffin is. So if we got a guy like Trinidad Chambliss, and we saw what he did in this and that in the same offense that's being brought to LSU.
Sure.
And you've seen what a guy like Matt Corral did. You've seen what it did for a kid like Jackson Dart, who did not have any experience prior to Lane Kiffin playing in this style of offense. You get a guy like Sam Levitt with the tools that he has, the big game experience that he has, and playing in a similar style of offense, and now you give him the PhD level of learning that he's going to get in this offensive system. You think you telling me I shouldn't expect for him to be better than what Trinidad Chambliss was?
So I don't care if he's out for spring or not. I'd rather
don't
just
care.
let him sit and let him learn the playbook, learn the scheme, work it out on the VR machine, and then
He
we'll
can
see.
throw.
He
He can throw to receivers in May when he's ready. He don't need. Only thing that quarterbacks do in spring is put on shoulder pads and pants. They don't get hit anyway.
Right.
I'm hoping he's in that VR.
Oh yeah,
Better be. I bet Nussmeier regrets that a little bit.
Yeah.
that's a personal choice. That was a personal.
Shouldn't be.
But how is that a choice? Like, how
Yeah.
how did that guy not do that?
And I'm gonna tell you. Well, I mean, think about it. Everything once you get there's a certain level, there's a certain point, and I go through this with my own son. Like, at a certain point, you can't make a football player do something that they're not required to do. Like their baselines. If I'm going to provide you with resources, are you going to be independent enough to tap into those resources on your own? Like, if I have to tell you to go to the VR room, then you don't want it enough. You think that it's just owed to you or that you're already prepared enough for it, when at no point in time should you ever be complacent to think that you've already made it. And
especially
that's
when
a
you
personal
saw the
choice.
guy before you, that was his formula for getting better. I mean, we literally just talked about Jane Daniels took such a leap from his first year starting at LSU. Like, I'm telling you, at the beginning of it, I didn't think he was going to work out. I was like, this dude is terrified to throw the ball down the field. Like, he's a hell of an athlete, but I was like, we're like 6 games this season, he's not letting the ball go. And he credits the VR to that. So you literally saw the guy before you win the Heisman, and this is what he talks about being his major piece of development, and then you're just not going to use it. Like, yeah, like you said, it's complacency, but it is ridiculous, especially with the money we're paying him.
I mean,
But it's
you
so
talk
amazing to
entitled
me. I'm sorry, AP, but it's so amazing to me. And it's an excellent point about the complacency. But like, and I never thought of it from that angle that Nussmeier was exposed to this his entire life because of who his dad was and is and to this day.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the most Saints thing ever. The Saints are going to trade Rattler and they're going to draft somewhere. They're going to draft Nussmeier as a third string quarterback. But
Dude, that's because the Saints suck.
Well, it's the most Saints thing ever. You know, I mean, I'm
Saints as you can get.
Yeah. But I just kept thinking, it's like, how did this kid not see what's in front of him? And I never thought of the complacency aspect of it. Like,
he never had a reason to.
Yeah.
He never had to have a reason to.
Right.
I mean, the hardest decision that Nussmeier ever had to make was choosing LSU and staying at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And even with him staying at LSU, it was, you don't have to work for the starting job. It's just inherited there for you.
Right.
And then the worst thing on top of that was
he brought out his Bucks hat. I had a feeling that was coming. As soon as I saw your Tampa flag in the background last night, I was like,
I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second.
Oh, goodness.
Too funny. I never thought about the complacency aspect of it with Nussmeier. I kept thinking, like, of course this kid sees what's in front of him. Of course he has that motivation to keep on going. But AP brought up excellent points there.
Look, I mean, I love Nuss. Like I'm not going to talk bad about him, like, at all. I mean, you're talking about in the era in which a guy could have left and started multiple years. He didn't do that. He did love LSU. But one thing I've always been like pissed off about Nuss is I just can't understand why you get the keys to a Ferrari and you're not in you. What was Nuss this year? 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
There's absolutely no reason that you should. First of all, every 23-year-old should be in the best shape of his life. But if you have the keys to a Ferrari and you're auditioning for the NFL. There's no reason that you shouldn't be in just impeccable shape. And you see Nas. I mean, it looks like no offense to him, but it looks like he's sitting here with us drinking beers every weekend, you know? I mean, there's no excuse for that. And I think that right there, but I got to remove him.
Excellent job, AP.
I mean, I had to balance this out for a second, you know, so
Yeah, we're good.
you know, just had to wait. Let me add a little bit more jewelry to this. Put on my son's state championship ring.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
What is that? What is that?
that's
you
my
got on?
son's state championship ring.
Oh, state
Yeah.
championship. What high school or what school?
Car, Edna Carr.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's nice.
very nice.
Heck yeah, that's sick. I don't like the hoodie, but the ring is awesome.
That's why I balanced it out.
Yeah.
I knew the ring would give me some grace, so that way you didn't kick me all the way out.
Yeah. I heard you talking with Carter about that. Like, you watching Jabari Mack, and everything. So, I didn't realize that your son played for Carter.
Yeah, man. Look, definitely a blessing in disguise for my son to go to that school. First of all, Carr is just a hell of a school. It's a great school academically. It's like getting a private school education for free, for one. So, but two, the amount of athletes that come through that school
Absolutely.
is ridiculous. And then you get to go and you see them, you know, like do spring against Destrehan. And like Jabari Mack is a dude. Like I got to watch Manchild play for 3 years. And he's probably the best high school wide receiver I've ever seen in my life. Like the plays that kid made was ridiculous. And then in 2 years I got to see Jabari Mack play. He was right behind Manchild. Like those two are ridiculous. It's just unfortunate for Jabari Mack that Carr had one of the best secondaries in the nation. Like Carr's defense was probably about as good as LSU's 2023 defense. I would have felt better with LSU with Carr's defense being out there for LSU and being comfortable with those results, because that defense probably would have gave up a better fight. Like that's how good that defense was. I mean, you had 3 4-star DBs in that room, and Jabari Mack was making plays. Like I think you got probably the most underrated wide receiver in the class, if I'm being honest. Like Destrehan was lining this kid up at middle linebacker. And he took a 99-yard pick six to the house. Like the kid is ridiculous.
He's hungry too.
Oh yeah.
He's hungry too. Like
so as a Carr, my bad, Zach. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead. I was just saying.
No, I was going to kind of change the subject. If you guys want to stay on Jabari Mack, you're good. No, I was just going to ask. So, like, as somebody who's seen Carr play a ton, and how soon do you think Richard Anderson sees the field?
He'll probably get in the rotation early. Richard's the best defensive tackle I've seen, period. Like, and
yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say he's the best in Louisiana interior defensive line since Glenn Dorsey.
Yeah, and I'm being honest. So my son trains with Marlon Favorite, and Drake Nevis, and I'm actually gonna get those guys to come on the pod with us soon. So y'all be ready for that.
That's awesome.
And hands down, like the argument was originally, you know, Jakeem Stewart was supposed to come out in the same class with Rich. Well, Jakeem transferred to Carr last year so he could leave to go to USC. Well, what a lot of people don't know was Jakeem and Richard used to practice against this Carr offense. And what ended up happening was the offensive line thought Jakeem was the problem that they had to worry about. Well, it only opened up Oh, I'm getting ready, Paul. Don't worry about that. Well, the offensive line, it opened up for more one-on-one blocks for Richard. And you cannot block this kid with one. And it's because his size makes you think that he's coming at you with power. He is so quick off the ball. You don't see him coming. And that's the problem. And look, he is still raw. There's still some issues within his technique that he has to clean up as far as his hand use and his pad level. But my God, when he gets that down, you have Jalen Suggs ready to roll. You have another Glenn Dorsey coming into LSU. He's going to be a fucking problem.
Mhm.
Like, we give Lamar Brown all this credit because Lamar can do things on both sides of the ball. Richard Anderson is dominant. Like, he is unstoppable. And I mean that. Like, he can take over a game. The state championship against Alexander that we got this ring from, JT Lindsay was the running back. Carr put up 50 points in a half, and John Johnson threw 3 interceptions in the same half.
Right.
Well, they put up 30. No, they were up 30. They started running the clock to kick off the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of Richard Anderson. He had a safety, 2 sacks, and 4 tackles for a loss in the first half. The kid is ridiculous. It's going to be nasty what this D line is going to be. And I'm not going to say week 1 he's going to be in that rotation, but damn it, don't be surprised if you see him walking onto that field.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised.
I mean, I think it'll be hard to miss seeing him walk on the field.
Oh God, yeah.
He's
absolutely
got quite the stature.
Yeah, he's absolutely massive. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like, my son's first practice, him and Rich were standing side by side, and Rich just like leaned on him, and I was like, who is that big ass kid that was leaning on you? He was like, oh, that's Big Rich. I was like, what grade is Rich in? At the time, Rich was just a sophomore. My son was in 8th grade, and he was like, yeah, he's in the 10th grade. I was like, the fuck you say? That kid's got he's got 2 kids at home and pays taxes at the end of the year. Like, ain't no way in hell he's a sophomore.
Right.
But no, he is massive. He's a good kid too. He really is. Real humble, mild mannered, doesn't talk too much. Tries his best to stay out of trouble. He's a really good kid. I can't wait to see him flourish at LSU. The day he committed was absolutely hilarious because I had bought him a box of cookies and Corey Adams a box of cookies. They committed on the same day. And on Corey's, I wrote, yeah, sorry you committed to Ole Miss, but I still love you. And then right next to Richard, I said, thank you for choosing the right school. Go Tigers. Get on Corey. So no, man, good kids, bro. Definitely good kids. ATG, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah, what's up?
How did you choose these Pirates?
These Pirates? Oh, the Tampa?
Yeah, them.
Yeah, it was when Tom Brady went there. No, I'm just playing. I promise you, I'm just playing. I sat through Greg Schiano losing by a combined 162 points in 3 weeks. I sat through all that type of stuff. So it definitely wasn't that. I've gotten that so many times it pisses me off, so I had to say it. No, I mean, I've been a Bucs fan forever, man. I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Michael Clayton, probably my favorite player ever, my favorite LSU player ever. He's the reason the Bluegrass Miracle happened.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Michael Clayton, the best blocking wide receiver that will ever come through LSU. And
it's hard to dispute.
Argue with the wall, a top 5 LSU receiver of all time.
I'm not arguing with the wall. I'm not going to argue against that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably Michael Clayton, but it was like he went there, and I was like, yeah, man, this is awesome. This is cool. And then it was like when he left the Bucks and went to the Giants, it made me actually become a Bucks fan. I wasn't rooting for a player.
Right.
So it was actually kind of funny. So no lie, 2002 Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the Raiders. I love Jerry Rice. Love Jerry Rice.
All right. I respect that.
Tampa wins. 2 years later, they draft Michael Clayton. It was hell from then. I mean, you made the playoffs, you fired John Gruden, and it was absolutely terrible. But I literally haven't missed a game in, I don't know, 18 years, 19 years, something like that. I mean, there's been some terrible, terrible times, but, it pays off whenever.
I will say this: out of all the fans and teams in the NFC South division, Tampa's definitely my least hated. I actually kind of respect them more because their story is kind of similar to the Saints. Like the organization that's just drunk and just happens to get it right every so often.
Yeah,
like we just kind of stupor our way in the relevancy.
Yeah,
that's such a great statement because again, I'm showing my age, guys. ATG. I remember when. Do you know who Tampa Bay beat for their first ever win in NFL after like a year, 2 years into the NFL?
Yeah,
they were winless for the first 2 seasons.
No, but what was it in the old sombrero?
I don't know where it was, but the very first team to lose to the winless franchise of Tampa Bay was the New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints.
AP, my grandparents lived in Pines Village on Virgilian Street, right across from Ray Abrams, right? That's where
right.
I can picture my grandfather smoking a cigarette, drinking his beer, and he points at the TV and he said to me, these sons of bitches going to lose to this team today. I'm like, Grandpa, Tampa Bay is 0 for 20 or 0 for 30, whatever they were. And that's the Saints team that I grew up with. God bless Archie Manning.
Yeah.
But Archie Manning, Walter Payton threw 2 touchdown passes as a running back against the New Orleans Saints.
Saints.
That's the Saints. But going back to your point, they have a similar history.
Yeah.
Lovable losers, the sad sacks, and every now and then they get it right and whatnot. But literally the very first team to lose to the Tampa Bay franchise was the New Orleans Saints because of course they were, 100 years before Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen needed to go just for simply apologizing for Jamal Williams' touchdown against Atlanta. Do not apologize for anything to Atlanta, for anything.
No, God, no. I hate Atlanta.
I think ATG will agree with that one.
I absolutely hate Atlanta. So here's the thing for me in Atlanta, and this is what pisses me off. Just about every year, I get a chance to go to Atlanta game, and I get sweet tickets.
Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't go this past year, but the last 2 seasons I was there, of course, with fucking Derek Carr. Going into the stadium, I knew what it was hitting for. I knew we were going to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
When Derek Carr threw that fucking pick 6, not last year, but 2023, that season,
mm-hmm.
I just sat down in my seat, looked at my best friend who's a Florida fan, Purple. He was with me that day. And I looked at him and I said, well, just let me grab me a root beer. Let me grab me some nachos because this is about to be the most entertaining thing that I do sitting in this seat. Walking out of that suite, you have nothing but Atlanta fans, bro. We beat y'all. I'm like, yeah, great. You beat Derek Carr. Congratulations. Line up with the other 31 teams in the rest of the field. Like, screw y'all, you bastards. I hate Atlanta. They're the most obnoxious fan base every time you get into the dome. They think that they are the Patriots.
Right.
And they don't even support their own damn team.
Right.
They don't sell out. The only time that they do sell out the stadium is when the Saints
Atlanta United. Oh, I thought you were going to go with the soccer team. Atlanta United sells more tickets than the Falcons.
Yes.
They might sell out for the World Cup this summer.
Right. Right.
I mean, they
put-
will sell it for that, but
They
yeah.
put Chick-fil-A in the stadium, who cannot sell
On Sundays,
shit on
Right.
Sundays
right? Right.
because it's Atlanta.
So even the Chick-fil-A in the
It's
stadium-
closed.
It's closed.
That's crazy.
Look, back in the
It is
day,
closed.
Crazy.
What
guys,
the
back in
fuck?
the
It
day,
is closed.
back in the day, I worked at the Chick-fil-A in Oakwood Shopping Center, right? And I mean, we're talking 100 years ago, but there were literally stories that Chick-fil-A home office figured out. I don't remember where the location was, not in Louisiana, but they figured out based on inventory that somebody had opened up on a Sunday and they were selling food on a Sunday, pulled the franchise from them,
Yep.
closed it down, boom. And then when the New Orleans Center was right there, long before Katrina, there was a Chick-fil-A right there in the New Orleans
was.
Center. You know, it's now behind Champion Square and all, but could not sell on a Sunday for all the Saints games and everything. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So like make it make sense, right?
It's
One thing I do respect about Atlanta, though, is Arthur Blank has still kept. They have the cheapest concessions in the
No,
league.
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
cool.
That's
That is
commendable.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look,
That
shout
stadium
out
is
to Arthur
incredible,
Blank.
though.
I like as an owner, I think the guy needs to get a little bit more respect than because he definitely tries. You know what I'm saying? It's not the fault of the owner. He's spending money, right? He's trying to bring in talent. You see, like if a coach is messing up, he doesn't keep them long. If the front office is messing up, he will blow them out. As an owner,
You have a mic?
the guy deserves better. It
Yeah,
just
but
sucks
your
because
camera-
he owns the
How do you
Falcons.
do?
Right.
So you get what you paid for, sir. You own
Right.
that hot mess. So
Right.
there you go. Deal with it.
No, their food prices, that's like one of the coolest things because you go there and like at the SEC championship game, you can get like a burger and a drink and some fries or whatever for like $10.
Yeah, it's like $10.
like-
It's stupid.
Like I live in Dallas at AT&T, fucking that's gonna be like $50. So I do appreciate that. But what pisses me off about I don't know if it's an SEC thing, but every time I go to the SEC championship in Atlanta, man, you can't drink alcohol. I think it's because like
You're so
not the
used to
entire
Louisiana.
SEC sells beer and alcohol in their stadium, which is crazy that some schools are just punting on that free money that they would get. The fact that it lasted as long as it did where you couldn't get beer in the stadium is crazy. It's the same thing with gambling. Like you're just turning down so much free money. You know everyone's going to do it.
That's just somebody trying to be in charge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh
there's still
shit,
parents
guys!
in North
Oh
Louisiana.
shit, guys! We got
Uh-oh.
some fucking cheese joining us, man.
Whoa,
What up?
Buddha.
Whoa.
What up, bro?
You see, if you stay up late enough on a Friday night, this is
That's
what
my
happens.
guy.
Good thing happened after dark, huh?
What up? What's
What's
going
up going on, man?
What up, Buddha baby? What's happening, man?
Man, just chilling. I just finished watching a movie, dude. I got me a glass of whiskey, man. I'm having a good night.
You didn't
What
watch
kind
The
of movie you
Notebook
got?
again, did you?
No, dude, I watched The Ringer for the first time ever.
I don't know that one.
Oh, well, it was hysterical, super not appropriate, but so funny.
Right.
No, it's hilarious.
All right, so Buddha, we've just been going on for almost 2 hours now, an hour and a half or so. ATG has 3 pregnant women in the room with him while
No,
he's
two
podcasting.
pregnant.
Oh,
Two
one of them
pregnant
already
women.
started labor.
No,
Yeah, he's in the middle of delivery right now. I think he
Right.
cut an umbilical cord while I was waiting in the back room
Exactly.
for like 40
And
minutes.
so, Buddha,
Oh,
just tell everybody that's still watching, and just tell us how you got into all of this with the podcast and LSU and everything.
Man, dude, just born and raised an LSU fan, then just had some thoughts, got on the internet one day, and I guess people cared what I had to say. So here we are, right? Just bully balling my way into this thing.
There you go. But I asked AP the same question. He's like, "Yeah, I went and bought a microphone, and I went and bought a camera."
Yeah,
and
that's
as
exactly what
easy as that, man. You know. So
Yeah, man, it's been something, man. I'm still just here on my phone. That's it. This is just me and my
Yeah.
phone. Everything I do is just me and the iPhone. That's it.
right.
Hey, if you turn it sideways, I don't know, it might go full screen. We'll see.
I know.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
he's
is.
a more
Look at that.
Buddha for your money.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah.
Wait, dude, it's just me and the iPhone. So we're just figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I was doing the iPhone for the longest, but because I was on the iPhone, I couldn't see the chat. So then, I flipped it over to the laptop here and everything. And then I'm like, holy cow, like the chat's the coolest thing ever. But like I said, I podcast
Absolutely.
with my brother Daniel and our friend Chip. Well, then one night I'm looking at it and I highlighted one of the chats. I'm like, oh, well, let's talk to this guy or whatever. And then my brother, flipped out. He's like, no. Like, you can't have that control. Only I can have that control or whatever. And so literally we have, the guys that are always in the chat, they're like, let Zombie Bob have the chat, free Zombie Bob. And I'm like, yeah, my people have spoken,
Yeah, dude, I probably shouldn't have access to the chat, dude. They ain't saying nothing good. I can't see it.
Do any of you guys know Oops All Blitz? He's in our chat. He got kicked out of Blake's chat.
I saw that. I saw you got banned like last week.
So he jumps in and I think he has a burner account. So it's Oops and like K Push something or other. And I think it's the same guy because they were in our stuff. But AP, you were talking earlier about Florida, right? And like that they think that they're that, right? But Ole Miss is exactly the same thing.
Oh, don't get me started on this. All right, now you don't open up the can.
Well, wait, but let me tell you about
go
Oops.
back to Oxford.
So then Oops and K Push are like, oh, and all this, and it's so obvious that he's an Ole Miss fan. So just and I said to him, like, we know the pain that you guys have, because Nick Saban left LSU. And
no,
then
we don't.
he went.
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. You know why we don't? Because Saban didn't leave us naked. We actually had a ring on our finger when he left us.
I agree with that. But like we know the pain of the one that got away.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We know that, but he brought us to a higher height.
Sure.
We experienced something that they still have yet to experience.
Well, excellent.
Their
point.
head coach left them for what is better.
What is that?
Yes, but to Zombie Bob's point, if Wayne
get
comes here and wins 3 championships, they're going to say the same things we say. Imagine if Saban never left.
Right.
Yeah, but guess what? We don't have to imagine.
We don't
because we won one with him.
But very true.
Yeah,
we have the photo. It happened.
They won. Yeah, but Alabama won 6, 7.
That's great. But you know what Alabama also did too? They pulled him away from the Miami Dolphins.
Well, he wanted to come back to LSU.
He did.
That's
and look, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I wouldn't have. I would have fired Les Miles the day 100%. He called.
100%.
Would you have gotten rid of Les Miles that day?
Whoa.
True question.
Yeah,
let's not
100% AP. 100%.
Let's not go crazy.
Yeah, I would have traded Les Miles and 2 bags of Lay's potato chips for Nick. Say, are we kidding?
Are you
crazy,
man? I would have been one of Les's girls that are on the recruiting trips, bro.
Are you
I would have
kidding
been
me?
in Les's pimp pad, man.
Look, I just got in here. I think the comparisons between what Ole Miss is going through and what we went through in 04, 03, whatever year you want to count it, or 05, whatever it was, Lane elevated Ole Miss to a level they've never really been to.
Yes.
And here's the reality when it comes to donors and the money game, they do have a different perspective on their program as of today. They're going to invest more money. They're going to expect better. Did Nick leave us with a ring? Very true. But 2 things can be true at once. Both programs were elevated by a coach that's now entering what we would consider as prime.
Let me argue a counterpoint to that.
Good.
Does Auburn not spend money?
I don't think enough.
Does Auburn not spend money?
I don't think enough.
Does Auburn not spend money though?
I think they spend money, but here's the deal.
They do it wrong.
I think they spend money like
they do it wrong.
They give too much money to the girls.
So if you can invest as much money as you want to. And I can tell you this right now. LSU just did it last year. Did we not do it right? We did it wrong.
True.
If you don't have the right person in charge, your evaluations don't mean a damn thing. The money that you invested doesn't mean a damn thing.
Right.
Because if you're spending bad money, it's still bad money.
Bad money. Right.
So I don't care that they're going to invest. Great. Make sure you're making the right decisions. Do you trust Austin Thomas to make the right decisions? We just had him.
Right.
We literally just had that.
No, I agree with you.
What's Austin Thomas with more money? He's still Austin Thomas.
He's still bad. Right.
He's still, and look, I'm not trying to like really talk down because Austin did some good things. He was able to generate buzz. He was able to take a position that really wasn't there before and make it work. But the time has changed. And if you're not evaluating at a different level and investing the money where it needs to be with a plan outside of just 1 year, you are setting yourself up for failure. And we saw that. And I think and don't get me wrong, do I think that Ole Miss will fall back to exactly where they were before? Hell no. I won't. I will never say that. But do I think that they're going to be reaching the heights of 10-win seasons every year? No. They're going to be floundering. Their high is going to be what is Alabama's low right now. They're going to be an 8-win team.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be they're going to have a lot of close games, and they're going to fall up short because they're going to have the wrong person mismanaging a 2 minutes at the half.
Can I play devil's advocate when it comes to
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Look, I don't think Austin Thomas is the end-all be-all, but I think we've all probably seen the clips. I mean, I shared one on Twitter of some of our personnel we brought in. I think part of our personnel issue maybe not been the personnel. It might have been how they were utilized on offense.
Yeah,
because he also played a factor on defense, and the defense was elite. AJ Halsey and
AJ Halsey, man,
are two of the best players.
You know, like AJ.
We're not gonna call this defense elite. No, we're not gonna say that.
But
Why?
We're calling this defense elite because of what we've seen the last 3 years before this defense. This defense was not elite. When your leading sack getter had 4 sacks and it wasn't a defensive lineman, that's not elite. That's not elite. That's bad investment.
We're elite.
But
yes,
any
why?
criticism you're going to give the defense?
Why? Because of the coaches that you had on the back end to develop them.
But what I'm saying, AP, is that do I think the players on offense were incredible? Probably not. But were they misutilized? 100% yes. Do I think we brought in a lot of receivers that were one-trick ponies that all had the same one trick? Absolutely. Yes. But do I think they were utilized correctly? Absolutely not. A lot of that's on coaching. So Austin Thomas, I don't think he's the best to do it in the sport, but I think he's very serviceable. And I'm not defending all this. I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to call somebody out, it's going to be the offensive staff. It's going to be Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton's how he subbed guys in. We had the wrong personnel on the field constantly in the wrong formation.
But here's the thing, though, Buddha. We're not talking about LSU's offensive problems. We're talking about Ole Miss.
But we're talking about Austin Thomas, who is the guy who is
and where is he at right now?
At Ole Miss. But we gotta
so if he's at Ole Miss, and I've seen Austin Thomas operate outside of this offensive staff that we had last year, and Austin Thomas was, like you said, he was serviceable. So I'm going to pose this question to you: would you rather Austin Thomas or Billy Glasscock?
I thought it was just me and you.
Yeah, right.
I know, me too. I was like, "What the hell just happened?" I didn't know I was going
close up, Billy. But I also can say this: my thoughts on Billy Glasscock and Lane Kiffin are based on what they just did at their previous school. So when I assess Austin Thomas, I have to assess him through the lens of what he just did at his previous school.
Right.
I have to do it both ways. And look, I think what we have is the better combination. But I don't think Austin Thomas was the LSU problem. I think Brian Kelly and the offense.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not laying all of this on Austin Thomas's feet. What I'm saying is if I'm looking at this from a 10,000-foot view and I'm looking down and I see everything that Ole Miss has, and I see that they took core pieces that LSU just had that went 7-6. Do I think that that's going to elevate Ole Miss? Am I supposed to sit up here and confidently say that Ole Miss will be able to touch what they just experienced with the staff that they just left? No. That's a step back. That's honestly a step back. And like Paul said, I agree with that. We start at the top. Blame Scott Woodward, blame Brian Kelly, then blame Joe Sloan, then blame Frank Wilson and Cortez Hankton. Then you get to Austin Thomas. So there's so many different levels you got to go to before you can place blame at Austin Thomas. But if I'm looking at what Oxford has, if I'm looking at what Ole Miss has and where I'm projecting them to be, how can I sit up here and say, okay, you got this guy as your GM, this unproven factor as your head coach, this running back coach that you just plucked from off of a staff that got blown out, and I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? Y'all can get to 10 wins again. No, I'm not going to sit up here and say that confidently.
Right.
The architect that built that foundation is now in Baton Rouge. Right. And we are seeing a night and day difference from what Ole Miss was able to pull in consistently with their staff, with their roster, we're seeing those effects be amplified in Baton Rouge. Not only is it working, it's being magnified. You not only have you had the number 1 portal class last year. This year's number 1 portal class feels completely different than last year's.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you went and pulled out a pro roster.
Right.
Later, Paul. Y'all sleep well, man. I know you got to get up early.
Hey, not to cut anybody off. Not to cut anybody off.
No,
Real quick. AP,
in
I
labor.
told you this, and fuck if I know. I'm here in a room with the door closed, so I wouldn't know.
Right.
But
My bad.
AP and Buddha, I haven't told you guys this. There is a way. I think Zach's figured it out how to make it also live on your page as well. If you wanted to do that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
There
You'll
should
have
be
to ask
something in the
Zach.
upper right-hand corner.
Stream this to your audience. All right. I see that. Okay.
And then also another thing, anybody in the comments, anybody watching this, if you want to get in here, just DM me.
Look, I got my guy Austin Taylor. He just texted me. He said I should have got in on this live. So
Yeah, tell him to DM me. DM me your email address, and
I'm gonna shoot it to you. ATG.
I'd like to say something, man. Everybody in here that I can see their faces of, and then everybody in the chat, man, I appreciate every one of y'all. And also what y'all been doing is incredible. Everybody in here, especially ATG, Zombie, Zach. I mean, we've talked. Purple Mafia, we've talked. AP, obviously, we just did the pod together. Man, it's been awesome. Like, this portal cycle, like, we brought in a lot of people, but I feel like I've also brought in a lot of Tiger people in my life that, like, I know now. That's been incredible. And, like,
absolutely,
thank you to all of y'all. And, like, it's been awesome to watch everybody. And this is so exciting, to be honest.
No, 100%. 100%.
Seems like that's when the fan base has the most growth and the most like connection is when we do go through coaching changes.
Yeah.
Sucks that it has to happen that way, but you know, I'm grateful for it. Yeah, maybe we could do the same thing with basketball.
This one was a united one. Yeah, this one was a united one. You know, like I don't think anyone's mad about Lane. You know, the only people that are mad about Lane are
not LSU fans,
or you know, the guys that are going to be like, "Oh, he's a piece of crap," blah blah blah. You know, like whatever. Like
maybe the guys that are running the BS LSU.
Those people don't care about winning.
Ooh.
Like
ATG, I just sent you.
Yes, LSU guys. Yeah, let's talk.
Let's get them on the street.
Wait. I want to go off.
Let's get them in this live. Man.
ATG, I just sent you a DM with that email address for Austin.
All right, bet. I actually. So while we're at it, I just got a text from Jenna. She said I don't want to interrupt you guys, but she's in here now.
Hey,
so
Jenna.
this is one of the non-pregnant girls.
Hello, nice to
well, nice to meet you.
If we're being completely transparent, she's like if I could like cannonball through the floor, I would land on her.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So somehow AP got out of here, but
it logged me out. Like it kicked me out while I was trying to stream to the audience or whatever. It's
all right, AP, I got your message and I got another message. So I think we're about to get two more in here. So it's about to be crowded.
Cool.
In a good
All
way.
right, Jenna, why did you want to jump in?
I just wanted to join. I'm a big LSU fan. So, and yeah.
And ATG said, no, I'm not sharing my screen with you. Go log in somewhere else.
Well, we don't want to sit in the same room.
I said,
have
go
echoing,
downstairs.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it seems like all the other females in the house are impregnated, so be careful. Proximity is probably a good thing.
The pregos are gone, dude. We got them out.
Pregos
No
are
pregnos in this house, dude.
You know, like if you ever watch the podcast, our friend Chip, who's like a brother to me, he and Daniel grew up. He goes off the rails. So I apologize for the comment I just made, Jenna. But I'll hold up the legal disclaimer, and say, hey, like guys, like the Go Team's legal department said, don't listen to what Zombie said, or don't listen to what Chip just said. It was a technical glitch. Like don't pay attention to us. I apologize,
Hey,
Jenna.
listen,
it's nice to have you here.
Stream, Zombie, if you ever get in a stream with ATG, and this goes for all of you, it's unrated. Like we don't do that shit. Like I told you guys, like you all have your own things, and I'm not trying to compete with any of those. We're not analytics guys. We're not breaking down anything. We're gonna talk about doing the fucking laundry, like whatever. That's our thing. Like we're just bullshitting. We're drinking beer.
Oh no,
whatever.
I know.
So
But
like,
still,
if you get my stream, don't apologize for anything.
well, but
That's all I wanted
It's
to
the first time
Yeah.
I've had a lady on the
Yeah.
any of the podcasts or anything. So
You don't have to worry about me. I'm
Well,
pretty
no,
chill.
I know.
I'm pretty
She's
chill.
got more foul mouth than any of us. So
I might be a lady.
It's true.
No, but going back to that point, like what Buddha said, like, like guys, I love talking. I love listening to you guys. I love following you and everything. Anytime y'all want to do a cross collaboration, anytime you want to do a meetup or anything like AP, like I would
I'm
love
all
to do
in.
like an NFL draft watch party, just comment on the whole thing
Yes,
and anything
indeed.
like that, But right, because it's not
Don't
competitive.
tempt me with a good time for the Super Bowl.
No, man,
Don't-
so
don't do
then,
that.
but you see that there's too many parades on Super Bowl Sunday, so I don't know, but no, absolutely, like it's a great time to be an LSU Tiger fan, and like I don't look at any of you guys other than just friends essentially, and just like. I do this for fun. Like I'm way older than all of y'all combined. This is just for fun, man, because I love purple and gold. If you've not heard me tell the story, the very first LSU game that I truly remember is 1977 at home against Rice. Carlos Carson caught 5 touchdowns. LSU won 77-0. And I cannot go to any other non-conference LSU game because when it's 53-17, I am losing my ever-loving mind because why aren't we at 77? How did we allow 17 points? Why isn't this a shutout? So it's like Brian Kelly pissed me to fuck off when he said we were spoiled. I'm like,
I added that audio drop to my soundboard. I had to clip that and add that to my soundboard.
Yeah.
Because guess what? After this portal class, I am spoiled.
Oh shit, yeah.
And
we thought we were spoiled a year ago with that portal class.
I am standing up. I wish I had a nice cup. I'd put my pinky up right now. I am spoiled. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you. Hold y'all pinkies up.
Yeah,
God damn it. We are Bayou and Bougie. All right.
And this is year 1 of Lane Kiffin.
I love
year
that.
1. Wait until we're in the semifinals.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Bayou
You'll
and
get church
Bougie.
made.
Yeah.
You'll get Bayou and Bougie, and mine's gonna be eat shit now,
Shit now.
eat later. We'll
Eat steak
sell
later. Yeah.
I've got some really good buddies that are Texas fans, and the narrative that they have changed throughout this whole process has been shocking to listen to. At first,
What is it? What has it been?
broke. LSU's broke. I'm like, I don't think LSU's broke.
Mm-mm.
And then
That Boudin money spend
like,
different,
they're still
baby.
broke. I'm like, nothing being done makes them broke. And now it's, well, you're spending too much money. I mean, who wants to just buy a roster? I'm like, I thought we were broke 3 months ago.
Right.
Who is Texas?
Excuse
to say
me,
that
I
as
wouldn't buy a
well?
roster this past year to go 9-3. Excuse me. That Boudin crawfish money just hit real different. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can have that oil. Y'all can have that dirty water money over there. Y'all can have it. This Boudin money spend real well down here.
I got a question for y'all. What player, returning or portal, that nobody's talking about, do y'all think might have a breakout year?
Dylan Jones.
Give me Trey Des Green. Don't give me Harlan Berry.
Dylan
Don't
Jones again.
Mafia.
Dylan Jones.
Mafia.
I like
All
Roman
they-
Mothershed.
I like him and
Telling
Achilles.
you, go look at his
I like Roman
Twitter
Mothershed,
page
too.
and go look at his. I mean, I don't really know why he didn't play too much at Troy this year, but I mean, we were going through it on our show. Like, we still don't really have that prototypical like big X receiver. We got a lot of guys in that like skinny, fast slot mold. We were thinking like, who could be that guy? Jump ball. And we talked about Trey Des Green. I'm telling you, go watch Roman Mothershed's pinned tweet on his Twitter account. His practice highlights are freak of nature at Troy. And I know on Moscano's show, he said he had a scout tell him that they think he's going to be a pro player one day. Now, is that going to be this year? We'll see. I think they brought him in the same mold as like the kid from Old Dominion. Like a lot of eligibility left, might not play originally, but 2-3 years from now, yes. If he's good enough, and he definitely has the athleticism, he has the size and athleticism that none of the other receivers have. So that's kind of one guy we have, sir.
I can tell you a guy I have real quick. And my only reason is we haven't seen a lot of him. We've seen a couple clips of him. I think he had 1 catch for 4 yards last year.
Philip Wright.
Philip Wright, man. And the reason, there is
AP,
I already
man.
know where he was going.
Lane and company picked one guy to make sure he stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And that means something. I don't know why, but it feels like it means something to me. I think he might have a year that's like, whoa, who's this cat? This ain't.
Mhm.
I thought Jace Brown. I thought Trey Wilson. Also, we have 2 Treys that we brought in, both named Eugene.
That's crazy.
It's making it tough.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that's crazy. Now,
Trey Wilson, Trey Brown, and Jace Brown. We are going to be
Right.
so confused.
oh yeah, we're screwed. We're gonna have to go. We have to treat them like they're USC players and just call numbers.
Right.
But we
Yeah,
all
get rid of
picked
the
offense.
nameplate.
Yeah.
Right. We all picked offense. I'm gonna go with a defensive name real quick. Stefilian Green for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw what that kid did to us in Clemson, South Carolina, week 1. I wanted him on our defensive line this year.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got him. And I think that is going to be a linchpin for guys like Prince Will, Umamielen, and Gabe Relaford coming back. I think he's going to be the central figure that we need to unleash the front 4, because not only can he run stuff, but dude is a pass rusher, like an interior pass rusher. And that's what you need desperately. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to him.
I have a bunch of friends who are big Clemson fans. One of my good friends is from Anderson, which is, if you went to the Clemson game, you know it's like right outside of Clemson.
We stayed in Anderson, actually.
Yeah, we did.
That's funny. We stayed like right in downtown Greenville, but like that's like the one player that you talk to the Clemson fans and that they're pissed. Outside of Ferrelli, obviously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's the one player that they're pissed that they lost in the portal is Stefan Green.
So the question was, who was your favorite portal edition?
Who do you think
Well,
could
with
break
the
out? But
breakout.
We don't want Trey Green or Sam Levitt or Harlan Bear. Like kind of a deep cut, maybe.
Who's going to break out is the question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know so much breakout, but I like that kid, Zach. What is it? Zach Grace.
Zach Grace.
Oh,
Yeah, he
it's
can't
the
break out. He don't have no stats. But,
Well, he got no. I just like the
but
physicality
brother.
of the guy. Like, and
Yeah.
right, and his brother's the North Dakota linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So just the physicality of that kind of guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So it's only including like incoming players, or are you talking about guys?
Yeah,
that are-
anybody?
Returning
Anybody
or
outside
portal.
the big names. Anybody outside the big
The
names.
entire roster.
So one thing I'm concerned about, and I don't think we addressed enough, was the cornerback depth. If we have a big injury at corner, I'm a little concerned, and I can't really say that about anywhere else on the team. I mean, my favorite guy from last year's class. I always have a favorite guy. It's not necessarily the guy I think is going to be, the best on the team or anything. But Aiden Anding, I'm really excited to see what he does
Mhm.
after a whole year in the system
It's-
with the team. With Corey Raymond, he's a very intriguing prospect to me.
It's so
He's
funny you
super
bring
athlete.
him up. It's so funny you bring him up because Ole Miss is parading around the fact that Frank Wilson and Pete Golding went to go see his younger brother this week. And it's like, hey, he's a top safety recruit, and his brother plays cornerback at DBU. What are y'all really selling him? Come be bougie.
I know, dude. It's so funny. It's like you see, like I don't try to get it. I avoid it. Some of you guys are like totally into it, and I read them and they're funny, but I avoid like arguing about stuff like that with you.
Yeah,
guys.
I don't.
It's like Frank Wilson goes and literally visits a kid, and they're like, "Yeah, Frank's owning Louisiana."
Right. He's stuffing
He went to the
LSU in the locker.
Like, what are you guys talking about?
Right.
Like
You realize Texas does this too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
It's crazy.
Like how did Tristan Keys get committed to Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean,
No, but I'm
Well, we
saying
got a
somebody
minute.
went to his school in Hattiesburg to visit him.
Right.
Like,
Right.
It's probably Adidas. Shit, it probably wasn't even
Well-
Nike.
Well, we got a minute. We
high
got
school-
two new people on the stream. Go Taylor, Fourth and Go, AT.
What up?
Welcome,
What up?
welcome to the
How are
stream.
y'all? Good.
And David, is it Bill Yacht or
Yeah. Yeah.
Billiard.
Billiard.
Okay.
You got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I've been
Okay.
reading your name online. So thank God.
all right? Welcome,
I appreciate
welcome,
it.
guys. Just a little heads up. You can actually, apparently, according to Zach, somewhere in the top right, you can add your page to the stream, so like it'll be streaming on your page as well. If you guys want to do that, if not, no
Okay.
big deal. It doesn't matter. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Go ahead and plug